Hey buddies, tomorrow is Xbox One release day and we will be looking at the third and final entry from the big three into this generation of hardware, the Xbox One. Kinect required, and that's the problem. That is what is making me less excited about tomorrow than I ever have been about the launch of a new console. And that's kind of the topic of this vlog. So last week we checked out the PS4. Last year we checked out the Wii U, which the Wii U, to be honest, topped the PS4 in terms of excitement, and I think that's purely Mario times. You knew that it was going to be a party because, ain't no party like a Mario party. And we were all dressed up like Mario. And that's another thing, actually, for at least the PlayStation episode. We were able to dress up as favorite characters from the PlayStation world. This Xbox show in particular, we won't have anything on except for different colored shirts so that we look, we stand out from each other. Especially during the Kinect bits, but more on that later. We couldn't think of any characters to dress as. I mean, there is Master Chief, there is Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War. Do you think that I'm going to make Becky create an entire armor ensemble for one of us? For either Marcus Phoenix or Master Chief or any of the Halo characters or any of the Gears of War characters? There's the Rare franchises, which Microsoft has been keeping hostage for all these years, that they're finally just releasing Killer Instinct. But to be honest, they're barely... we could have maybe one of us dressed as an Indian, but then where do you go from there? All of us in Killer Instinct clothes? Then it's the Killer Instinct show. You can't just have one person in a costume from Killer Instinct and have the rest of people not in a costume. Stuff like that. It's difficult deciding on costumes for shows because you need to have everybody in a costume or nobody in a costume, basically. Or at the very least, just Baby Hank in a costume. We considered getting a Master Chief helmet for Baby Hank. But this has nothing to really do about the launch of a new console. I guess to wrap up that part of the discussion is Xbox just doesn't have as beloved franchises as the other two systems. And to be honest, I was surprised how many beloved franchises Sony has under their belt based on PlayStation All-Stars. If you asked me a year ago what they had that excited people in terms of characters, I would have had to think for a while, but PlayStation All-Stars kind of proved that they do have quite a few. Xbox, not so much, and it's a real shame because we like dressing up. It's too late now, but I would be interested in you. I asked people on Twitter a long time ago, maybe a few weeks ago, what they could think of that we could dress as. Nobody could really come up with anything that was worthwhile. If you guys can think of anything else, again, it's too late for us to create costumes now, but I don't know, it's just too bad. I wish that Xbox would put more money into new IP and franchises that we can all grow to love, and by proxy, start to love the company, which has been having some trouble getting love from its consumer base for a while. Now, going onward, I wanted to talk about how unexcited I am about this next console release and how sad that makes me. Just one second. The PS4 launch, I actually wasn't that excited about either because of the launch titles. And the ensuing week, this week, afterwards, in playing Killzone for a while, we checked out Need for Speed, and we haven't actually gone back to NAC yet, but I have been generally bored by these titles as well. It's a pretty weak launch lineup, and that's too bad. A lot of stuff was pushed back. I think the PS4 was really relying on Ubisoft to bring it with their launch titles. Watch Dogs being pushed back, The Crew, The Division, stuff like that. So in lieu of those, there's really nothing to I feel like beyond Killzone, which I was bored to shit by. Look at another vlog for that one. There's really nothing to really sink your teeth into as a next-gen storied experience. In terms of the Kinect, I am a little bit more excited about these games that are coming. Dead Rising 3, I'm excited about it. Of course I am. Why wouldn't I? One of our most classic VGA episode was Dead Rising, so this should be a good episode in that terms. That's probably going to be the crown jewel in the day, is the console-exclusive Dead Rising 3. On the other hand, there's going to be the thing that I'm dreading most that outweighs any excitement that I might have is the Kinect setup. And you guys know that Kinect setups have been a thorn in my side. There are always technical difficulties. The Kinect never wants to cooperate, and through anecdotal evidence, I've seen that people say that the Kinect never wants to cooperate with them. It's not just me. we have an optimal setup in this studio when we remove the couch, and yet the Kinect still doesn't seem to like, the parameters that we have given it. No backlighting, an empty space, no furniture, perfect lighting. How could you get more perfect than a production atmosphere? And yet it still gets all finicky. Now, that said, I was thinking of maybe starting the show with the Kinect part first so that we could give it its best chance for calibration, setup, get the play space down, and things like that. However, on the other hand, when you're unboxing a system, we're going to need the couch in place when we're setting up all this stuff in the menu, downloading the new games, the updates. We're not going to want to stand around. If we start the day standing on a cement floor of the garage, it's unfortunately cement. Well, it's got a carpet, but it doesn't matter. No under padding, that's the problem. But anyways, if we stand around waiting for a console to update and we don't even get to start playing games for a while, it just is going to put us in the worst mood. So, and in addition to that, I don't think it's fair to give the Kinect the best possible chance. I think that it's more fair to show the Kinect in a typical setup and how it reacts to a typical setup. Our couch back there, it may be hard to tell, but, and I still haven't given a studio tour, and I'm sorry for that. It'll come one of these days, and it will be a very special episode. The couch is about 5 feet from our TV. The couch itself is about 3 feet deep, and then behind the couch to the green screen is a range of about 3 feet because it's on an angle, 3 feet at the closest, and about 6 feet at the furthest. When the couch is gone, you can't tell me that that's not a more optimal setup for the Kinect, like a completely empty room with nothing in the way. When the couch is there, I feel as though 5 feet from the television may be on the close end, but it's still a typical living room setup for a lot of people. 5 feet away from the TV, I'm sure a lot of you guys have couches that are 5 feet away from the TV, especially if your TV isn't that big. And so I think that it's only fair that we demonstrate what a setup of the Kinect is like in a typical living room scenario. I have a feeling it's going to be angry with us and not allow us to set up the Kinect properly, and I would predict that not allowing us to set up the Kinect properly will result in some limitations on the system itself, since the Kinect is bundled and requires you to have it hooked up in order to play the system. We will see. Now, it sounds as though I'm priming myself to be angry about the Kinect and pissed off on the launch day. I'm really just trying to steel myself for it because, like I was telling the mods today, when they were telling me about the Beyond Two Souls DLC and am I going to play it, my response was, I'm sick of hating things. This isn't what the show is about, but it just feels like so many things nowadays are disappointing. And maybe that's becoming jaded because I'm doing a video game show, but in general, I'm just not that. I want to be excited. I want tomorrow to go really well. I want the Kinect to actually kind of be fun. And there have been times where the Kinect was momentarily fun, mainly during the Kinect Fun Labs stuff that I did with Becky. It has the potential to be just like the Playroom that we did with the PS4 release, to just, for a lark, have these moments that are kind of neat. And off show I have played with Double Fine's Kinect Room, and that actually should have been a show that we did, and we will probably do that one day. It has proven that it can be one of those romps in a room with people just screwing around with the Kinect. Now, when you really want to do things with the Kinect, though, in the case of Rise and The Fighter Within, which we will be checking out tomorrow, things don't become as fun anymore because you need the Kinect to do things that you want it to do, and it doesn't usually like to do that. And again, this just sounds like I'm priming myself for the biggest disappointment, and I really am, I guess. I'll admit it. I'm just not excited. I want to be. The only thing I'm really excited about is Dead Rising 3. And Killer Instinct, that'll be a fun segment too. At least for one segment. I hope it's button mash friendly. I really do, because, none of the guys have really played Killer Instinct. I have, but there's no way that my skills are going to translate from, 15 years ago to now. I just want to be able to get in there and kind of fake some combos. I just want it to look flashy and crazy based on very little experience. And I hope that they've taken that into account, like Marvel vs. Capcom and things like that, where with little experience you can still look and have tons of fun because you're doing crazy ass shit that you don't know how you're doing it, but you're doing it. And then an expert can come in and kick everybody's ass, and look awesome doing it. But I think that that's the best kind of fighting game out there, is one where the newbie can go in there and just like laugh his ass off at the crazy shit, and the expert can come in and, you know, take everybody to task and show them, you know, what real skill is like. That's a good fighting game, and I hope Killer Instinct's like that, because I don't want to have to sit there and just be like, I'm also, I guess that's another thing I'm just preparing myself for, is Killer Instinct to be a pro, one of those pro only friendly fighting games, and, you know, to take a tomahawk swipe at somebody and just go doosh, 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 and not be able to do anything unless I learn the combos or something. I hope that's not the case. Other things I'm excited about, not really much. Not really much at all. I just hope it goes smoothly. And I hope that if problems do happen with the Kinect, that they're problems that can be easily made fun of and laughed at. I hope they're not the types of problems that just kind of screw the show over and it goes nowhere and you're just sitting staring at a blank screen or something and the Kinect won't do anything or something like that. So I do hope that if the Kinect is just finicky, that that's all it is and it's not a showstopper. But hell, I hope, you might be surprised by this, but I really hope that the Kinect works perfectly, beautifully, how we always imagined the future would be like. Maybe that's a glimmer of hope. Maybe this Kinect 2 is going to be incredible. Maybe it's just going to blow my mind and make me eat my hat. And I think that a lot of people out there don't believe that I want this. I really do, guys. I always want the best for gaming. As much when I'm making fun of things and shitting on Xbox or shitting on another company, it's because you're making the best of a bad situation. If something's bad, if you can get some fun out of it, making fun of it, then at least not all was lost. And that's why we do these things. I don't hate things for the sake of hating them. I want to love everything that is involved in video gaming. I want to. I guess that's it. Like, I really hope it's good. And I hope that Microsoft does good this round, despite their really horrible start. I hope that this works out for them so that Sony has some good competition going into the next generation. That about sums that up. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock a.m., guys. We're going to be going all day until we cover everything that you want to see us cover on the Xbox One. So the link will be in the description for where you can catch that show. We'll do an announcement in the morning as well. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for early announcements for other shows and this one. See you later, guys. I'm just going to try to get some sleep tonight, and I love you.